Hello, I'm Sydney and welcome to my Flock and Squawk. So I am back in the kitchen on my own for the first time in quite a while without Connor or anything. We've been doing a lot of taste tests and vlogs and that sort of thing. But today I am taking it back here and we are going to be making a variant on 7-layer cookie bars. So I printed off this recipe, well my mom did, printed off this recipe of 7-layer magic cookie bars, which was posted online by Christi Johnstone, but I'm just going to be using this as a very rough guide for making my own cookie bars. So I'm thinking peanut butter, pretzel, that sort of thing. So this basic recipe is just what I'm going to use as a guide, mostly for like how much of a base I'm going to need, like the sweetened condensed milk measurements and bake time, temperature. So that's basically what I'm using this for, but I will have it down below, and then I will also be putting sort of what I'm doing in this video down below. But if you'd like, there's also going to be timestamps. So we are just going to get right into it, get into making these magical cookie bars. If you've never made them before, it's kind of just like you layer a base. Sometimes it's cake mix, sometimes it's graham crackers like this one, and with butter, and then you put all these toppings on, pour sweetened condensed milk on top, and then you bake it, and it makes like this delicious little cookie bar. So yeah, that's what we are doing today. So let's check out what I've got going on. So for mine, I have these leftover M&ms that I'm thinking, the sweetened condensed milk that you pour over top. I'm thinking maybe some chopped up peanuts. I have graham crackers for the base. I have peanut butter chips. I have mini chocolate chips, and then I have some pretzels that I'm going to break up over top, but I'm also going to be substituting some of the crushed up graham crackers for crushed up pretzels in the base to sort of make this all a cohesive chocolate peanut butter pretzel. So that is what we are going to get into, and the first step is to break up the graham crackers and the tiny twists and mix them with butter and put them in a 9x13 as the base. I'm going to be putting down parchment paper just so it pops out easily, but that is what we are doing. So here I have some graham crackers and pretzels crushed up for the base. I am going to mix this with some melted butter, about half a cup, and then we are going to press it into our pan, and that's when we can start just throwing toppings on top. And for the bigger pieces of crushed up pretzel, I'm thinking that I'll just put them in a Ziploc and lightly beat them so that way they're not so fine. For the base, I did it a little more fine by just putting it in a blender. I just used this like blender smoothie cup one, but a normal blender or food processor or even just a Ziploc and beating it will get you crumbs like this. But yeah, let's mix it with melted butter. Alright, so we have our base. It looks like this. I made mine fairly thin, but if you wanted to do more base, you could add more and adjust the butter. But yeah, so we have our base and it's time to prep our toppings. So like I said, I'm going to crush up some of the pretzel pieces a little bit larger, and I have those peanuts that I'm going to chop up slightly. So let's do that, and then we can just toss everything on and pour sweetened condensed milk over top. So I have my slightly crushed up pretzels and my roughly chopped peanuts. I tried to make sure that they were, at least not full peanuts, just slightly chopped, not too big or too small. And so we are just going to toss our toppings on. Like I said earlier, I have mini chocolate chips, I have red and green M&ms, and yeah, so we are going to just add these to the top, spread them semi-evenly over it, and we pour sweetened condensed milk on top. This goes in the oven for about 25 to 30-ish minutes. I will let you know how long mine exactly took, but the oven has been preheating to 350, so we are just going to top it and put it in the oven, and then I will see you after it bakes with the time it took, and then we will let it cool and taste test. Alright, so the cookie bars are out of the oven, and while those were baking, I got some cookies at the ready to go in the oven. I just mixed up a batch while that was baking. It took about 30 minutes, so the higher end of the time estimate of the recipe. And I'm sure I could let them go even longer, but they're looking how she recommends them looking when you pull them out. Slightly browned, that sort of thing. So those were my indicators. But I'm going to throw some cookies in, let this cool, and then we will pop it out, cut them, and taste test. So my bars have cooled, and as you saw, I transferred them onto a cookie cooling rack to help them cool off a little faster. They're still a touch warm, but they've definitely cooled off a lot. So I'm going to transfer these onto a cutting board and we can taste test them. And the recipe that was my base says that this makes 24 bars, but I will just cut and see and like how many I get and what I feel is like a reasonable portion per bar. So let's just come in a little closer and we will cut these up. So, get out cutting board. Alright, so I'm gonna take my knife and just cut . And as you can see by the knife, they're still slightly gooey, but I'm going to go for this one, I think, since the pretzel kind of bumped and broke it up a little more. But here we are. And let's give it a taste test. Super sweet, but also not overly so. The pretzel retained its crunch pretty well. It is just slightly softer than a normal pretzel. It's very crumbly and messy, but super good. So, yeah. Definitely a touch on the messier side for bars. So I will probably put little parchment-y paper pieces under them when I put them, like package them. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. Let me know in the comments down below what you would like to see next. Have you made these before? And what are your favorite toppings on them? Like I said, I just used a recipe that I'll have linked or put down below. That sort of I used as a base. What do you suggest that I put on next time I make these? And yeah, thank you so much for watching. I hope you flock and squawk again with me sometime. Bye!